What's up, guys? We are back. Oh, and we've got so much to talk about. Miscellaneous Brown, episode 28. And your co-host, my favorite friend and head writer, my friend, Chris Mateo, is back to the show. And I'm not even going to give him an intro. I'm really just going to bring him back on because I'm so happy to have him back. Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, what's up?
We had that long ass episode about the DNC and your wonderful experience at the DNC. And then last week we had Michelle Amor, brilliant, wonderful mind from New York, East meets West type episode. It was really great. But now you're back. You're back with new titles and new jobs because you're accumulating jobs like a Jamaican, homie.
Man,
we have multiple jobs nowadays.
No, it's great. I mean, like it's a blessing more than anything to be able to do this. But it is that scene from Godfather, right, where he's like, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, and they're pulling me in different ways, which again I'm very grateful for and happy to help out. And but yeah, coming back to this, making sure I'm here is just what really grounds me and reminds me, yeah, there's politics and government and stuff I got to do. But, like this reminds me, I got to find that balance still and do what I love. And comedy and working with you is just a great reminder for that. So yeah, I'm happy to be back and excited to do a million things until November 5th. So that's what's up.
I think that's both of us right now. We're both in kind of a transitionary period because I'm working part-time back trying to make some Christmas money and some comedy festival money for at the airport, at the Burbank airport. Shout out to Airport Lunchbox. No shout out. I'm just playing. No shout out.
You already did it. You already did it though. So
the fact that I work there all day for the hours that I do, that's enough shout out. Yeah. No, I actually, it's not bad, but it is definitely a transition. I have to definitely figure out how to, figure out the plans, figure out the podcast, figure out, the scheduling and interviewing. Because if you guys have noticed that the podcasts have been a little bit sporadic, they haven't been as regular as every Monday, just because, like you see, both of our schedules are getting a little hectic as the election. 50 days away. We're 50 days official, right? Today?
50 days. I think, yeah, it's just right under 50.
Or 49. Maybe it was 50 yesterday. Now it's 49.
Yeah.
But either way, we are closing in on the number of days. What's happened since we last talked? We got the debate, which was it was
refreshing.
It was fun to watch.
It was very fun to watch. Yes, no, it was refreshing. It was totally different from the last debate, without question. It was humorous. It was nice to see. He was the same and expected, but to have somebody next to him just like laugh and just express herself the way that we usually feel when we see him talk or hear him talk, that was. If there's nothing else where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can connect with Kamala or all this other stuff, like when you see her up there next to him just laughing and saying, talk about extreme, it's like, that's what I wanted to say whenever I want to say more. And she almost did with, I don't know if you caught that little slip.
I know everybody caught that, man. She almost said her favorite curse word.
Yeah.
Because that's her favorite curse word is,
It is. Starts with M.
Starts with an M. And ends with a not ER.
Yeah, no.
And that's exactly what this former president.
Oh my gosh, that was refreshing. It was nice because again, I think you and I talked about this. The other debate was just like I couldn't hear him talk. I felt bad for Biden. It just wasn't good all around. This one was exact opposite of that. It was.
He felt very over rehearsed. He had too much in his head, and he was overburdened with a lot of information. Just from a performance standpoint, the things that was probably rustling around in Biden's head that he couldn't get out during that first debate, Kamala was like lined up, quick, ready, and triggered him. I mean, I feel like, to be honest, from the moment she mentioned his crowds leaving before the end of his speeches, was it was a wrap after that, because he
Yeah.
was triggered for the rest of the debate.
Yeah.
And that actually, that crowd sizes line was the line that triggered they're eating the dogs, they're eating
Yeah.
the cats, they're
Yes.
all of that. And then he went on to talk about how it was the people on the television who told me, the people on the television twice, like, sounded like uh, a crazy old man on the front yard of his, you know, house, screaming, "Get off my lawn!"
Yeah. Well,
more
it
than
was a
anything
crazy
else.
old man saying, "Get off my lawn," and saying, like, the TV said it, but it's also, like, resonated with me where it's like, like, I have little nephews where it's like they're influenced by the TV, they learn so much, they're so smart, and then like, "Oh, I heard this on TV." I'm like, "Okay, you're 4, okay." You hear an old man say, "Well, I saw it on the TV." It's like, "Okay, you're almost 80, dude." Like like, this is it was
Well, the best joke of the debate to me was, even though there aren't after after birth or after birth abortions, or after 9 month abortions, they're considered murder. Kamala did abort a 78-year-old baby that night. That was like my favorite joke of the
that
whole
was
thing,
good.
was
That was good.
because she really did destroy him in that debate. And then, like, I mean, let's, as Filipino Americans, I feel like we need to talk about this ridiculousness that JD Vance. Let's not forget, JD Vance proliferated this rumor of people in Ohio, Haitians in Ohio, stealing other people's dogs and cats and
Yeah,
eating them,
no,
and
that's
killing
the
the
line.
geese and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
But and then he even said it in an interview with Dana Bash, that we created. He used the word created. We created, or we crafted the story to bring attention to something else, and it's just like, so you admitted that you lied. You're admitting that you're bullshitting about this immigrant community who are now receiving bomb threats, and the schools have been closed for the past 3 days, and hospitals have to shut down and are on lockdown because they're receiving bomb threats,
Yeah.
and Haitians are locked in their homes in this small community, who have basically, they're legal immigrants, by the way, legal immigrants that were invited by the Ohio government to revitalize the economy of the town, which they have been and are doing. But now they're facing this bullshit because of, they're eating the dogs, they're
Yeah.
eating the cats. I saw
Well,
it on television.
yeah, like you said, this is all resonate with us as Filipinos. Like it's just exactly in line with what we've gone through with threats to our community, with the stereotypes of eating dogs, pets, like all these are just. But this was
It's
what?
a way of scaring people, because what do people love the most? Right? Especially in America, they love their pets.
Yeah,
And what's the worst thing you could think to do to a pet is, take it and eat it. Right?
yeah,
It's the scariest thing. And somebody who would actually eat a dog, oh my God, that's not a human. That's another animal. It's dehumanizing the other. It's
yeah,
exactly all it is.
yeah,
It's been a racist trope since they used it on Filipinos, since they used it on the Cambodians, since they used it on the Thai, since they used it on the Irish. They used it on everybody, because it's a way of making you scared of somebody who doesn't look the same way that you do. And
yeah,
it's actually, to be honest, for me, it's tiresome. A lot of these racist tropes are so tiresome. But what's scary is that they're not saying, it's not a quiet part anymore.
yeah,
It's not a dog whistle anymore. Now they're just saying it. I mean, let's just bring it up, right? The head of the National Review, in an interview with Megyn Kelly. You know how we do. So
I mean, I read online they're protected in Ohio. So I love, I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months
of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds. Only 2 calls. And I think one lesson of this whole story, people don't care about geese. People really hate geese. All things considered, I think people would prefer Haitian migrants to come and take the geese off the golf course, right? So it's pets, it's the cats and dogs has become the standard. Geese clearly don't matter.
I mean, I read online they're protected in Ohio. So
you didn't say nothing about that. You didn't say nothing about that, Megan. Megan, you were talking about F.U. Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
F.U. Taylor Swift. Oh, there it is again. He said it again. Did you hear that? Did you hear that word he said? And Megan, you didn't say anything.
Glossed right over it. She just glossed right over it. Just
said the N-word out loud in an interview with Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly didn't say a thing. It was almost as if it was like that she was defending when she defended blackface Halloween costumes. Remember that? I mean, we know where Megyn Kelly stands now. I mean, F.U. Taylor Swift for defending LGBTQ rights, right? I mean, these people are showing their ass.
Yeah.
These people are really just they're saying the quiet. There's no quiet part anymore. These people have realized that the only way that they are going to have any semblance of any kind of power left or hold on to any kind of power is basically promoting themselves to racists and hoping that there's enough racists left in this country to keep them in power and keep them relevant. That's, I mean, I can't see any other way, shape, or form. How, what else? They're literally marketing themselves to the KKK. There was a flyer in, World War II Nazi-esque font warning the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, to leave town and go back to where they came from and all the other regular stuff. In the font that everybody recognizes as a Nazi propaganda font.
Yeah.
It's they're not saying there's no quiet part anymore. These racists are really
they've just been empowered by this guy, right? I mean, that's what it's been for how long now? It's like they're coming out, they're feeling like, okay, well, I could say this because what's going to happen if this guy can be president? I can say this without any repercussions. It's fine. They're going to come out of wherever they're coming out of and be okay with it.
And I gotta say, man, your philams for Harris. There are a lot of philams still out here that are supporting this guy and defending this guy, and it's hard for me now, especially now. This one, especially, you throw in the idea of the disproportionate deaths of Filipino and Filipino American nurses during the COVID pandemic and the first waves of it, especially because for lack of PPE protection and for lack of all the different preparations that were in place in the Obama era, and they had a global disease system, monitoring system, and the Trump administration and the Republicans dismantled it right before the worst global pandemic in a century. So, I mean, I really don't want to put these guys back in charge at all. We're not going back. Obviously, we're not going back. But at the end of the day, understand that everything that they do is based on replacement theory and on racist, let's be white supremacist ideals and attributes. Even the Electoral College and all the other things that are in place right now were set in place to help the minority, the people, the slave owners, to repair. No one was ever given. As a trip, man. I gotta talk about this. So we're in a restaurant in Burbank, Granadas, a famous Mexican restaurant here in Burbank that's been here for 30 years, 40 years. I don't even know how long it's been here. And I was sitting there with my family, my mixed race family, my Filipino and Caucasian family, and this white dude at the bar was screaming about, I can't understand why black people would want to have reparations. What about the soldiers in the Civil War who fought for their freedom? Where are their reparations? And I go, homie, I wanted to say they got paid as soldiers. They got paid as soldiers, and their descendants got, they benefited the GI Bill, which a lot of African Americans were racially excluded and not excluded. Some were luckily included, but a lot were excluded. And then you have the redlining of the neighborhoods all throughout the 50s and 60s and 70s, to where they kept everybody out so as to keep the property values up, because the scared folks didn't want to live next to the colored folks. You know, there's a lot of different programs that need repair, up to and including stuff like where we're sitting. And it was a funny thing because I really want, my wife stopped me from saying this, but I was like, homie, you are in a Mexican restaurant on stolen Mexican land, and you are talking about how white people don't need to give anybody reparations. Literally, you need to tip better, homie. You need to tip on that margarita you're tipsy off of, screaming this stuff in the middle of a place where there's a lot of brown people just looking at you weird. But again, I'm here in Burbank, in California, the liberal bubble, right? And now I have to endure these same bullshit racist tirades of people because they feel so empowered by this asshole. And when you think about it, Filipinos who are still Republican and are still supporting Trump are equivalent to the Candace Owens and the Tim Scotts and the Marco Rubio's and the Vivek Ramaswamy's and the Nimrata Haley. All these folks have a pick me mentality. Pick me. I'll be good. I'll be a good one, right? Pick me. It's very Samuel L. Jackson, Django. Stefan energy, you know. I want to be the if we're all going to be enslaved, at least I want to be in the house, is basically the mentality of these people. And because you have to think at this point, most of these people know better. I talked about it with JD Vance when we talked about him when he was first picked after the Republican National Convention. It's what scared me most about him, is because he knows better.
Yeah.
All these people know better.
Yeah.
They're doing it. It's a blatant search for power.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's not even, again, the quiet part is non-existent. It really is. But that said, you know, we've kind of gotten into a little, I'm sad because we're in this racist cycle of always having each new minority group has to face these awful accusations and awful, you know, situations because of racists in this country. But what do we do about it, Chris? Like, yes, we do everything that we can and work hard for Kamala Harris, but there are other things we can also do. Like, who are the people in your local on your local ballot, down ballot people? We got to start talking about the down ballot again. You know, stuff that we talked about before, but now we got to keep talking about it again, because like Isabel Jurado just got endorsed by the LA Times. Congratulations to her. You know, Robert Bulatow is still working on his city council. You know, there's so many people, there's so many Filipinos and so many Filipino Americans that are running for office that will be able to represent us, literally represent us, hardcore represent us, and especially in California, but in other places where we have big populations, Filipinos need to be elected to office. And those aren't going to be the presidential ballots. Those are going to be the down ballots that you're looking at and you're voting for. So you have to do your research this time. This is not a, we have to win all the way. It has to be a, you know, yes, Kamala Harris has to win, but so we also have to retain the Senate and hold on to some seats and maybe gain some seats. We also have to get back. We need to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House and get control of the House and get these people like Marjorie Taylor Greene to have a much less power in all they can do is complain about their own party and give them that's the only power that they have, because they're a minority party and they should be treated as such.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, exactly right. With what we've consistently talked about is all politics being local, but I mean, it's right in your face, right? I mean, like if you don't understand like what difference it makes, that like you're going to select this mayor that may or may not be, all for your community, then your
Or the
community
city
suffers.
council member who wants to ban books.
Yeah. Yeah, these are just the things that right in your face, and on the national level, you can hear about Dems doing this, Republicans doing that, and all that. But at the local level, this affects you and your family immediately. It hits the ground immediately when you vote for these people or don't vote for these people. So when we get to see Filipinos that look like us, that we know that have the same values and whatnot, that we're going to be not just represented and there's another person who looks like me. They know what the struggle is. They know what these families go through, and they know what needs to be done to pull them out of that and make sure our future generations don't have to suffer that way. And it's all these, it may seem very little, but the work that they put in, the time that they put in, we got to support them, starting from getting them elected and through the office, holding them accountable and making sure not just like, are you doing your job, but what can we do to help you do your job also, right? We got to keep supporting them as well. And so it's getting them into office and then reminding them there's a huge system against you, but there are thousands of us behind you, right? And in order to push through the system, we got you in the office. We're going to get you through that and beyond, because you deserve it. We deserve it, because we've given so much to this country, right? Everybody has, and everybody should have that opportunity. But here, specifically for Filipinos, we gotta be able to push that through, and that's something that we're doing. Like you said, down ballot from Filipino Americans from Harris all the way down to every city, local municipality, and folks that are running that are from our community.
I mean, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's how Kamala Harris became Kamala Harris, right? She was first elected the DA of San Francisco, and then the DA of District Attorney of California, or Attorney General. I'm sorry, Attorney General of California.
And then
So
Senate.
like, and then the Senate, and on and on and on. She's the most qualified presidential candidate to have ever run for office. She was more qualified than Bill Clinton when he ran, more qualified than Barack Obama when he ran. She has more years of elected office experience, up to and including executive experience,
Mhm.
vice president. I mean, the only other person that was more experienced than her would have been Joe Biden, and he's 78 years old.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Her life was dedicated to public service from the beginning. I will mention that how we do other things. There's other things besides local politics that you can do. You can do stuff like this, what we're doing. You
Yeah.
just get a homie together and you can talk about what you talk about and upload it, and that's a podcast. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we do every week, every other week, and you can talk about it, and then the people who watch that may inspire them to do their thing, and then the more people that we reach, it's a bubble, it's a ripple effect, right? You drop a pebble in a pond and there's ripples, and this is our pebble to drop in the pond. Is every week or every other week we try to hit you with a little knowledge and kind of talk about the things that are going on in politics and pop culture, and they and try to either meld them together in a weave. When
Yeah.
he said that shit, it made me laugh so hard, because I was an English major, and I know, and I'm a stand-up comedian, so words are very important to me. So when you can talk about this subject and this subject and this subject, and then I put it all together and it's a weave. No, it's not, dude. It's rambling, incoherent mess about you talking about Hannibal Lecter, sharks, and electric boats, and how windmills cause cancer and kill the birds, and how when there's no wind, there's no power, and all the other ridiculous garbage that you say is all. The other thing, I guess apparently most recently he said that there was a huge faucet from Canada. There's a huge faucet that Kamala Harris in California controls, and it takes a whole day to turn on and off the faucet for the water. to put the water back in the ocean, I guess. I think is what he was trying to say. Like, this man is a toddler. His brain has not developed past, it's maybe 11, I'd say. Maybe not even. I don't want to give him that much credit. I feel like 8 years old is about when this fool stopped developing mentally, because he is. Y'all can't tell that he's stupid? Really? Like, you can't give the answers to Kamala Harris for a debate. It's a conversation. It's a call and response. You have to respond. There's no, and I I'm gonna say that if there is a performer that could perform with a ear prompter, whatever magic earrings that she had, as far as magic earrings on that debate, like, if she can perform with ear prompter that well, that is the best ear prompter perform. She's better than any news person, any actor. She is incredible. If you could be prompted to do it in that way and deliver it in that way and be prompted to all those things that she did with her earrings and an ear, and she could hear all that with it. I mean, I'm going to say that is an incredible performer right there.
Yeah.
That right there is a hardcore. She knows what the hell she's doing if that's the case.
Yeah. That's like,
I'm just saying.
She might as well just be a puppet at that point to be able to do it that quickly and that well. Just,
I mean, it would be maybe Kamala Harris is a robot. Did you ever think that maybe she might be a robot?
that's what it is.
She was a robot, and then they turned the robot Indian, and then they turned the robot black. How about that?
No, that's what
they did it.
This is the next thing that's coming out. We've already predicted the Project 2025, the amendments. It's just gonna be like, this is all based on Kamala being a robot, and we have proof. No one can be this smart. That's what they're gonna say. No one can be this smart. Everybody's just basically like Trump. So anyone who's not like him,
like she knew the answers. Yeah, she did, dude, because she was prepared.
Yeah,
you fucking idiot. My God.
How do you know how to talk? How do you know what to say?
How do you know what the answers are before the? I mean, it's not hard. It's a presidential debate. What are you gonna do? How do you feel about the economy? What are your views on foreign affairs? It's not hard to choose the questions when you're talking about a presidential debate. They're pretty much standard affair. But I guess the debate prep with Tulsi and who else? Who else was it? Oh, and RFK.
Oh,
maybe that's where he got the eating the dogs, because RFK is the one who takes the roadkill and took a bear and cut its head, took a whale and cut its head off, and the kids and all these other things. I mean, I feel like he wasn't talking about eating dogs until RFK came into the situation. I feel like RFK gave him that. Either that or his new we got to talk about it. His new squeeze. Have you heard about this lady?
I have not.
Miss Laura Loomer. Have you not heard about the lady who's been on the debate plane, and she's been on the plane all the time, and then it was rumored, I'm going to say allegedly, okay, in Republican circles and in GOP and MAGA circles, she's been bragging that she gave Trump the best blowjob of his life.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for the crassness, but I think this is going to be the October surprise, that Trump and Laura Loomer, a known 9/11 denialist who he brought to the 9/11 commemoration this past 9/11, just this week, and a known racist who said that if Kamala Harris would be elected, she tweeted, if Kamala Harris was elected, that the White House would smell of curry, and that all the voter complaints would be directed to a call center that no one could understand. I mean, like, literally stupid racist. And then when J.D. Vance was asked about that, I mean, he said, J.D. Vance was asked, hey, your wife's Indian. And he was like, yeah, well, she's just a supporter of Trump, and her views didn't even defend his Indian wife again. Asha, blink twice if you need us to rescue you. We got your back, girl. We are brown too. Girl, we can save you and your brown kids from this terrible man. Oh my God, how awful is JD Vance? Not only is he awful to his wife and kids in as far as defending them and their honor. I mean, this is true of the whole Republican Party, isn't it? Isn't it? Ted
Yeah.
Cruz.
Yeah.
Damn, my dad killed JFK and my wife is ugly, but I'm still gonna kiss your ass clean, Trump. These guys are the weakest, most awkward, can't even order donut dudes. And I don't know who is voting for these people. Who other people who are like this, like other awkward, weird people? I don't get it.
Well, it's like you said earlier, like how do these people just not know that Trump is stupid? So it's like if you don't know that much, the expectation is you're going to support people like this because you just don't know any better. Like if that's the standard of like not knowing if a candidate, has a 10 IQ or whatever, maybe that's reflective of you in this way, and so you're going to vote accordingly, and whatever he says is truth to you because anything else is just beyond your understanding. So of course these people are going to make it to the top, and they're going to say they know this, they know their constituents, their voters, and they're going to say what it'll take for them to get up there. Like you said, the power grab, the power stuff. So all of it.
Yeah, it's kind of disheartening, but it's also like it really feels good to see the polls and how VP Harris and Tim Wells they're really getting through. You see the rallies; those things are undeniable. You
Yeah.
can't change that. When the Taylor Swift endorsement, impeccably timed,
Huge.
chef's kiss, Taylor, perfect,
Yeah.
and triggered them. What did he tweet? I hate Taylor Swift. My God, this man is a child. He is a child, and I mean, we're kind of coming up on like towards wrapping it up, but I wanted to give a little bit of a tease as to what is coming out September 20th
September 20th.
to YouTube, to this platform that you are watching this video on. I will be one of the debate panelists representing for Kamala Harris on the show Middle Ground by Jubilee Media. So you would definitely need to subscribe right now to Jubilee Media. It's on YouTube, very easily searchable because it's a very big show. 8.8 million followers on Jubilee Media, and they release a show called Middle Ground. It's a debate show, and your boy Erick Esteban. Oh wait, I got to stop. Kendrick just dropped another song. I cannot refer to myself as your boy again. That oh, come on, what did I do? As Erick Esteban, but Erick Esteban, I am going to be on the show Middle Ground on their 9/20 episode of Kamala versus Donald Trump. Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, and I am representing Kamala Harris in that debate show. So watch it.
Nice.
And help me and defend me in the comments from all the Trump supporters. They're going to talk a lot of shit because I've said a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm really excited to see what happens because, yeah, that a lot of things can happen on the internet because of that. Getting on.
So that's
Somebody-
September 20th.
September 20th.
Jubilee Media. You can find it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they're on Instagram as well, and on TikTok and all the other stuff.
Okay.
So follow them, and I'm sure there'll be little snippets and clips and stuff like that. So hopefully, to bring more attention to our podcast as well. But yeah, man, I'm really excited about that. But I'm also really excited about all the stuff that you're working on because you're becoming a big part. You're now the Western. What I don't want to get it wrong. Tell me all the stuff you're doing with Philams for Harris.
Yeah. So for Philams for Harris, as you know, and as we've met, this is how we're here. I'll be helping out with the Western region again. Shout out to our chairs, Melissa, Genevieve, and Mario for trusting me to do this again. I'll be working alongside Mayor Jesselyn Manalo from Daly City to expand our Western region outreach. And so what we need here, I'm going to use this as a call to action. What we really need right now is volunteers, people to help out with phone bank, and targeting specifically our Western region swing states. We need Nevada and Arizona. We need to reach out to them, to our Filipino voters out there. And we need help to do this, whether you're able to go out there and canvas. If you're looking for phone banks, check us out on at Philams for Harris on Instagram is usually where they post most of the stuff. But we've got all the other social media platforms, but Instagram is probably the most active. Check us out on there, but we post different phone banks that we partner with other organizations to make that happen. The rumor is we're going to be having, and I can share more details once this is official, but we do plan on having a caravan out there to actually bus people to Nevada to be able to canvas and walk. We're basically bringing people from our wonderful blue state of California to help out with Nevada to Arizona. But we need people to do this. And so we're asking you to step up to volunteer in some way, shape, or form to make sure that we secure these swing states. And if you're listening from outside of the West, obviously, we've got Arizona and Nevada here, but if you're able to help out with Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, the more the merrier, right? And I'm just shouting out the Western states because it's where we're at. This is what I'm working on. But we need you. All the stuff that Erick and I talk about, all the stuff that we say about local politics, all the way up the ballot to the presidential, it's not going to happen without the volunteers to make that and reach out to our brethren, our Filipinos, our everybody, and just let them know, hey, look, this is important for you. This is why, and you got to get to the polls to make sure that this happens and spread the word. Like, even if it's just your immediate family, that's a few more people that are going to get those votes out. And so, like I said, check us out. I got the handle on there at Philams for Harris. Check us out online. If you have questions, hit us up here. Make your comments whenever Erick posts this. This is what we're looking for. Let us know that, raise your hand. Let us know who's in Arizona that who's in Nevada that who are these organizations that are out there that we can reach out to and say, how can we support you? Because we're going to be able to do this together, but we just need to know who's out there to make this team even bigger and get us the win. So.
And you got to also remember, guys, that Wisconsin was decided by what? 11. Georgia was decided by what? 11,000 votes, right?
Yeah,
Pennsylvania was decided by 50,000, 40,000, some votes. Wisconsin, something like 20,000. Very, very small numbers of a whole population of people. Say, for instance, a 30 or 40,000 people in Springfield, Ohio, and Haitians could swing an election this close when it comes to the swing states and the battleground states. And when it comes to Filipino Americans, we're the third or second. Is it third largest?
I think we're second now.
Second largest Asian American. AAHNPI. Is that how you do the whole thing now? I just want to be sure because I know it's changing.
Yeah.
But we are the second largest AAHNPI community in the country. So imagine if we collectively came together and worked together to use our political capital to elect Kamala Harris to be president, and then also up and down the ballot elect Filipino Americans to represent Filipino Americans. And the way that you all feel when you listen to this podcast and you say, hey, there's two Filipino guys, or Erick always has Filipino people on talking about politics and how it relates to us, that's the same way it feels to those callers and those people whose doors you knock on. When you would knock on a Filipino door and there's another Filipino talking to them the way that a Filipino can talk to another Filipino, it's a very different thing than when it's a different person that can't empathize. Because at the end of the day, we are talking about adding empathy back into politics. That's what it's about. Empathy and if you want to really break it down to, how we were raised and what it is, it's the difference between people who learn the teachings of Jesus Christ and want to tell everybody that they know all of it and how much they know and how smart they are about Jesus. And then there's people who want to just live with how Jesus taught us how to live. And that is treat others the way that we would like to be treated. Forget all the other commandments and follow my golden rule of treating others the way that you would like to be treated. Empathy. That's what Jesus preached. And I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church very often, but I learned that when I was in church. I learned that being raised in the Catholic, communities of the Philippines, and I learned the golden rule, and I learned how the golden rule is implemented, and I know that Filipinos love the golden rule,
Yeah.
because that was the thing that was preached to me when I was a kid. And if you want to talk about the antithesis, the exact opposite of the golden rule, it is trying to support and elect this party of narcissists, this party of selfishness. This party has been selfish since they've been preaching trickle down. Since 1980 and Ronald Reagan, and they talked about how trickle down and how if you let us be rich, we will trickle down. Think about that word, trickle down. The little leftover drops of what we don't want will fall on you. And they've sold this to a bunch of selfish people who want to keep an extra $100 or $200 on their paycheck. Because let's be real, these aren't millionaires who are benefiting and not paying taxes at all. You want to talk about that? Well, then you got to talk about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these other millionaires who are buying Twitter for their personal blog.
Billionaires.
Millionaires, billionaires, and corporations are the people who aren't paying taxes, not immigrants and not middle class people. It's the corporations. So if you want to stop that welfare and you want to start maybe benefiting and the opportunity economy of Kamala Harris and the Democrats, and Bill Clinton, as long and rambling as that speech was, as much as I love listening to a long rambling Bill Clinton speech, the one line of that Democratic DNC speech to me that is most impactful and most representative of voting for Democrats is 50-1. 50 million jobs created by Democrats during Democratic presidential administrations and 1 million jobs created during Republican administrations. That's the difference. 50-1. And then now Kamala's talking about an opportunity economy for the middle class. It's time to take our country back. It's time to build the middle class back up. And I'm going to say, even though what is it? The Filipinos are one of the most affluent model minorities. They make one of the biggest amount of money making minorities in the Asian community are Filipinos. And I feel like some of them feel like because they have a lot of money, they should be Republican. No, that's not the case, guys. Filipino Americans should not let other Filipino Americans vote for Donald Trump and Republicans. It is against our. It's just not. It's not going to be good for us.
Yeah, it's not who we are. It's not. He doesn't represent our values. Like you said, like a majority of us have grown up in the Catholic faith, the Christian faith, regardless of what it is. The family has been the foundation of it, and like you said, that's the antithesis of what we stand for, who our culture is.
I'm glad you had difficulty saying antithesis as much as I did. That shit is hard. I always try to figure out another word to say.
I was like, what can we say?
It is hard. It is, but that's what he is. He's the exact opposite of empathy.
Yeah,
he's a narcissist. He only thinks about himself.
Yeah,
and again, y'all got to stay tuned here to Miscellaneous and Brown, because we're going to keep talking about current events. We're going to keep talking about stuff, and we're going to keep talking about this election. But we're also going to keep talking about how it relates to Filipinos and how it's going to relate to AA HNPI. I'm going to keep practicing that because I've been AAPI in it for like years already, and it's hard to add that HN in the middle. Couldn't they put it on the end like the, you know how they do the LGBTQ R8574? You know how they add all the letters at the end? They could have done that because see the LGBTQ just rolls off the tongue now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now they got to add the HN right in the middle. They should have put it at the end, like AAPI HN. So you can see how easy that is to say. But now you put it in the middle, and you're like AAHNPI. There's a hesitation because you forgot how to spell it, and I can't spell out loud to begin with.
Yeah.
So this is hard for me. Then you got all the different acronyms. Can we not change the acronyms? That's all I'm saying. I agree that the Hawaiian nationals need to be included and acknowledged, but at the same time, can we? I'm just a suggestion, such as now I can't even say, I couldn't say antithesis. Now I can't say suggestion. What the hell, Chris?
Yep. I'm sure there's another word, and we're both English majors, and we should know better. But antithesis is just such a it's the word to use when describing because
He really
that
is the antithesis of empathy. He really is. It's such a disgrace, such a disgrace. And you know what's funny? I'm not gonna say what I said at the middle ground debate, but I will say that I did quote our vice president a bunch because I studied that debate, and there's one particular one with the word disgrace where, if that goes viral, I will be so happy because it's one of them, like dramatic things where you like disgrace, and where she did like how Kamala did on the debate, where she's like, your generals call you a disgrace, and then turn to him and he goes, you are a disgrace. It was just like that. And I'm excited to see how it turned out and how they shot it. So you should tune in 9/20. That's this Friday. That's this Friday, guys, because this episode is coming out on Tuesday. We are filming this Tuesday. We are recording this Tuesday morning. It is 10:54 a.m. in the morning on Tuesday in California, and Chris and I are talking politics on Miscellaneous and Brown, episode 28. Episode 29. 29 is a favorite number of mine because it's my birthday date, and I'll be turning 50 on 9/29. So I have my days of my days of being 40 are numbered. My 40s are coming to an end at the end of the month. What do you feel about that, Chris?
I didn't realize how close our birthdays were. Mine was on the 9th, and yours is the 29th.
Your birthday's on the 9th?
Yeah.
October 9th?
No.
September 9th.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So you're 9/9?
Yeah.
And I'm 9/29.
Yeah. Just 20 days apart.
Now we just need somebody whose birthday's 9/19, and we can totally own the city. No, but bro, I feel like so next week we are going to what's up for next week? I'm trying to think like what's coming. I know there's going to be more. What? This is a good question to ask. Do you think there will be a third debate?
I don't think so. Based on one that he got decimated during the last one, and hasn't he just said that there's not going to be one, and pretty much like children getting their ways type of thing. I think.
But then he said that he would if it was on Fox.
Oh,
and to be honest, I'm at this point, and maybe I'm just overconfident, and I love the fact that I feel like Kamala could handle that. I do feel like VP Harris could handle, if Sean Hannity was the debate moderator, and she spanked them both. Do you know how impressive that would be? And I feel like she could do that. Yeah. I mean, she's shown that she could do it in all the different congressional hearings that she was in during the Senate, that she can handle multiple people. She could totally do it. So it's not like, it's almost like going to the lion's den. And once all the, and kill all the lions.
Well, Buttigieg has been doing really well, showing
That's
up on Fox, and so that's going to be nothing for her if he's just on there just destroying them. Just
and imagine if at the end of the day the third debate is there and it's he's given all the whatever things except for audience. I won't. There's no audience. It's just always be no audience because this
Yeah.
isn't a circus. This is a debate. It
Yeah.
should be taken seriously. So I think other than that, I feel like she should agree and be on Fox.
Yeah.
I think that her people are gonna push for normal like Brett Baer or somebody to moderate. But I would be open because I don't think I wouldn't be worried in as far as I wouldn't be scared for Kamala if she was put in the lion's den with
Yeah. No.
Janine Pirro and Sean Hannity and they brought back what's his name, Tucker, and all four of them were all there, and I think she'd still destroy each and every one.
Yeah, and that's without question. I don't think in answer to your question, I don't think it won't happen because of her by any means. I think if it doesn't happen, it's because again, yeah, he may say it's because of Fox, but he'll find another reason, or he'll just like, no, this isn't gonna.
He needs a debate. He needs a debate.
Yeah,
because whether or not they continue on with this dog eating business, and unfortunately for this Asian community in Springfield, Ohio, it's gonna keep demonizing them, and maybe unfortunately something unfortunate might happen. But if they keep continuing, what else do they got? They need something, and you got to remember September 30th, is it? JD Vance is going to get his comeuppance from the coach.
well, yeah,
Because I cannot wait for that debate. Because you want to talk about smack and smugness with authentic, empathy.
Yeah.
That's literally the debate. Your tech bro versus your Friday Night Lights coach. That's the vice presidential debate, and I'm here for it.
yes, that one's gonna be a great sequel to what we just saw.
And Tim Walz is saying that he's not a great debater. I beg to disagree, because if Homie can handle a senior high school lunchroom, he can definitely handle JD Vance, who can't even order donuts. If you don't know what that clip is, I would pull the clip up, but I really don't want to watch that awkward shit again. Google it. Google JD Vance ordering donuts, and you will see how awkward, weird, and just but I cannot wait for that debate. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. I hope that the Trump camp has a tightly cushioned couch for JD to prepare on. You can catch the tightly cushioned couch. Tightly cushioned couch be good for him, because he's anyway.
Yep.
I'm not gonna.
A CF, yeah, he loves them.
I did not say okay. One spoiler for the middle ground debate, which I did plan to say couch fucker, and then I didn't. I didn't say it even one time, which I wanted to and was not given an ample opportunity where it made sense. And I didn't think just screaming couch fucker would have made sense in a debate show. But apparently it does on my podcast because I just did it.
There you go.
It's the worst part about that whole thing, allegedly. Even if it is just a rumor, everyone believes it. Everyone believes that it could be true of this dude because he's that weird. He really is that weird of a dude. And this is the guy. I go back to one of my first episodes after this debate, after this whole dog eating, cat eating mess, after picking JD Vance. The only thing I have ever had to say to MAGA for the past 2 years is, "This is your king." This is your king? For real? This guy. This is your king. I don't know, man.
Wow. Yeah.
That is it. I don't even know. But we'll be back next week to talk about more. And
We'll hear about
also
your stuff.
how we can, next week, we will be able to talk about and maybe have clips from Middle Ground. Who knows?
That'd be great. I'd love to see it. They'd love to see it. We should have that on
Well,
there.
and you'll, if you want to see it, all you got to do is subscribe to Jubilee Media, and Middle Ground will be coming out 9/20 Friday, this Friday, the Middle Ground episode with Kamala Harris versus Donald J. Trump in the Middle Ground debate, and I will be on the Kamala Harris side, and I'm excited for people to watch it and see it, and hopefully people will watch I didn't get to plug my comedy special either. Boo. I did I say Miss? Although one of the Trump supporters, dude. No, I can't say it. I can't talk about it. Never mind. It'd be a surprise. We can talk about it after. We can talk about the response and everything that I said on the show.
Yeah.
Next episode. Tease, or so you should like and subscribe if you watch this long. We've been talking for an hour about politics, and if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, you should really subscribe to us here at Miscellaneous and Brown at the 1-2 Productions. And if you really like us, you should go to the 1-2 Productions. That's one, the word ONE, 2 TOO Productions, all one word.com, 1-2 Productions. And you can support our show. You can listen to all the episodes there, and you can also buy some merch to support us, to keep this show going, to help us, keep the lights on and keep the StreamYard streaming. But yeah, go to 1-2productions.com to support us, or you can follow us on 1-2 Productions at Instagram, and you can follow Chris at Chris Mayo Mateo or at Philams for Harris. Follow Philams for Harris. The more numbers we get up, they're at 2,000 plus on TikTok and 1,000 plus on Instagram. Get these numbers up. All you guys, if you're following this show and watching this show, you should be following those accounts. So follow Chris at Chris Mayo Mateo. Follow me at Erick Esteban Comedy, and share this show. Share the show with other Filipinos and Filipino Americans, because this is how we grow. I've been Erick Esteban.
Chris Mateo.
And this is Miscellaneous and Brown, where we talk politics, pop culture, and Pinoys. I just made that up just now. You see how good I am with the improvising?
Yes. Yeah. I learned so much.
Next week, y'all. We'll talk soon. Peace. Alrighty.